In Port Charles, danger lurks behind every closed door, and secrets have a way of resurfacing when least expected. For Carly Spencer, life has always been a tug-of-war between survival and heartache, love and loss. Yet nothing could prepare her for the earth-shattering revelation that she is another child, one hidden from her for years, buried under layers of deception orchestrated by Brennan, a man whose manipulations have left Port Charles reeling. As Jason Morgan stands steadfastly at Carly's side, their unbreakable bond is tested by shadowy threats and shocking truths. The revelation Brennan delivers will shake the foundation of Carly's world, forcing her to question everything she thought she knew about her past, her children, and herself. This spoiler-rich dive unravels the twists and turns of this latest GH storyline, weaving danger, betrayal, love, and redemption into a saga that redefines what family means in Port Charles. Carly's days had been filled with battles she never expected to fight. Between Brennan's sinister schemes and the lingering fallout from Sonny's crumbling empire, she had learned to keep her guard up. Yet on this night, Carly felt an unsettling stillness, as if the air itself was holding its breath. Jason Morgan had just returned to town from a covert mission, stepping back into Carly's life at a moment when she needed him most. His quiet strength had always been her anchor, his protective instincts a lifeline she leaned on without question. "Something's coming," Carly whispered as they stood together on her porch. Jason's piercing blue eyes studied the street, scanning the shadows with the precision of a man who had survived countless wars. "You're right," Jason said, his voice low but certain. "Brennan isn't finished. And whatever he's planning, it's personal." What neither of them knew yet was that Brennan's next move would not be a strike against Carly's business, her freedom, or her pride. It would be a strike at the very core of her identity, her children. Across town, Brennan sat in the dim glow of his makeshift headquarters. His network had been disrupted, his plans delayed, but he wasn't a man who gave up easily. He thrived on control, manipulation, and psychological warfare. And he knew Carly Spencer was his perfect target. "Jason will protect her," Brennan mused to his associate. "He always does. But what if I told you Carly has more to lose than she realizes?" The associate frowned. "She's already lost plenty." Brennan's smile was razor-thin. "Not everything. There's a piece of her past she's never confronted. A secret buried so deep even she doesn't know it exists. A child hidden away." His associate blinked in disbelief. "Another child?" Brennan leaned back in his chair, savoring the weight of his revelation. "Yes. Carly has another child out there, one she doesn't even realize was stolen from her." Back at Carly's, Jason tried to convince her to let him stay close. "You're not safe," he said firmly. "Brennan's unpredictable, and if he's targeting you..." Carly crossed her arms. "Jason, you can't babysit me 24/7. You've got enough to deal with." But Jason stepped closer, his voice edged with quiet determination. "I'm not leaving you. Not now. Not when I can feel something's about to explode." The intensity in his eyes sent shivers down Carly's spine. Jason didn't speak in riddles. If he felt danger was imminent, she believed him. "Fine." Carly relented, though she knew better than to argue with Jason when he'd already made up his mind. "But if Brennan thinks he can scare me..." Jason's hand brushed against hers, grounding her. "We'll handle it together." And though Carly didn't say it out loud, the truth was simple. As long as Jason was with her, she believed she could survive anything. The showdown came sooner than expected. Brennan arranged a clandestine meeting with Carly, claiming he had information she needed. Jason insisted on going with her, unwilling to risk her safety. The meeting place was an abandoned warehouse, fitting for a man who thrived in the shadows. Brennan emerged from the darkness with that unnerving calmness that made Carly's skin crawl. "You've been a thorn in my side, Carly," Brennan said smoothly. "But you've also been a fascinating puzzle. And I do love puzzles." Carly glared at him, refusing to flinch. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand the truth," Brennan replied. "The truth about your family, about your children." Jason tensed, his hand instinctively drifting toward his weapon. Carly's heart hammered in her chest as Brennan leaned closer. You've always believed you had 4 children, Michael, Jocelyn, Morgan, and Donna, Brennan said softly, almost mockingly. But that's not the whole story, is it? You had another child, a child who didn't die, as you were led to believe. Carly's world tilted on its axis. What the hell are you talking about? She demanded, her voice trembling despite her resolve. Jason's grip tightened on her arm. He's lying, Jason insisted, trying to shield her from the blow. But Brennan only smirked. Am I? Carly, there's another son. A child stolen from you years ago. Alive. And I know exactly where he is. The words hit Carly like a physical blow. Another child? The very idea felt impossible. She thought of Morgan, whose death had gutted her. She thought of the babies she had lost in miscarriages. Could Brennan be referring to one of them? Could one have survived? You're insane, Carly spat, though her voice wavered. Think about it, Brennan pressed. Think about the times you were told your child didn't survive. Think about the chaos surrounding those moments. Do you really believe everything you were told? Jason stepped forward, his voice cold steel. If you're playing games with her… Oh, I'm not playing, Brennan interrupted. This child is real. And Carly, finding him will either be your salvation or your destruction. The car ride back was suffocating. Carly sat in stunned silence, her mind racing, while Jason kept his eyes fixed on the road. Finally, Carly broke the silence. Jason, what if he's telling the truth? Jason glanced at her, his expression unreadable. Then we'll find out. But Carly, you don't face this alone. Not now, not ever. Her chest tightened at his words. Jason wasn't just her protector. He was her rock, her constant, the one person who had never let her down. If there's another child out there, Jason continued, we'll bring him home. No matter what it takes. And for the first time since Brennan's revelation, Carly let herself believe it might be possible. The next days were a whirlwind. Jason and Carly quietly launched an investigation, enlisting Spinelli to dig into Brennan's claims. They searched through hospital records, old files, anything that could hint at a child stolen from Carly. Spinelli's research uncovered anomalies, records that had been tampered with, missing birth certificates, discrepancies in medical files from years past. Someone had gone to great lengths to erase a paper trail. This isn't random, Spinelli explained. It's deliberate. Someone didn't just want to hide this child. They wanted to erase him completely. Carly felt her knees buckle, Jason catching her before she fell. The possibility that Brennan was right, that she had another son out there, was becoming harder to deny. Meanwhile, Brennan watched from the sidelines, enjoying the chaos he had unleashed. He wasn't lying. Carly's child was real, but his motives weren't altruistic. He wanted to use the secret as leverage, a weapon to manipulate Carly into submission. But what Brennan underestimated was Jason Morgan. Jason wasn't just a soldier. He was a man fueled by loyalty and love. And when it came to protecting Carly, Jason was unstoppable. After days of chasing leads, Spinelli finally uncovered something concrete, a child who had been placed into a private facility overseas under a false name. The timeline matched perfectly with one of Carly's supposed miscarriages. Jason and Carly stared at the file, the reality sinking in. He's real, Carly whispered, tears streaming down her face. My baby's alive. Jason pulled her into his arms, holding her as she sobbed. We'll get him back. I promise you, Carly. I'll bring him home. The trail led them to a remote compound outside of Istanbul, guarded and nearly impossible to breach. But Jason had never shied away from impossible missions. With Carly's desperation fueling him, he orchestrated a daring rescue plan. The night was tense, every step a gamble. Jason fought through Brennan's guards with lethal precision, determined not to fail Carly. And when they finally reached the inner chamber, they found him, a young man, around 16, with Carly's eyes staring back at them in shock. Mom, the boy whispered, the word foreign yet instinctive on his lips. Carly's heart shattered and healed all at once. She reached for him, tears streaming. Yes, baby. It's me. I'm your mother. But Brennan wasn't finished. As Jason, Carly, and the boy prepared to escape, Brennan confronted them, fury etched across his face. "You think you can steal him back after all these years?" Brennan snarled. "He belongs to me." Jason stepped forward, gun drawn, shielding Carly and the boy. "He was never yours." The standoff was brutal, tension thick in the air. In the end, Jason's unwavering resolve won. Brennan was forced to retreat, but his final words echoed in Carly's ears. "This isn't over. That boy will destroy you." Back in Port Charles, Carly struggled to adjust to the reality of having another child, one raised away from her, one who barely knew her. The road ahead would be complicated, filled with questions of identity, trust, and healing. But through it all, Jason never left her side. He had kept his promise. He protected her. He brought her son home, and he stood as her shield against Brennan's lingering threats. For Carly, the journey was far from over. But she knew one truth with absolute certainty. As long as Jason was beside her, she could face anything. General Hospital thrives on shock, heartbreak, and redemption, and this storyline delivers all three in spades. Brennan's revelation of Carly's hidden child doesn't just shake her to her core. It sets off a chain reaction that redefines relationships, alliances, and the meaning of family in Port Charles. With Jason as her protector, Carly steps into a new chapter of her life, one where the ghosts of the past finally give way to the hope of the future. And yet, in true Port Charles fashion, one question lingers. Did Brennan really tell Carly the whole truth? Or is there an even darker secret waiting to be revealed?